Hopefully, it won't take too long.
Yeah.
So, just greeting everybody tonight. Tonight, our special guests are um, Marc uh, Brian Louis and his coach Benber Yu from they're in Singapore, and Marc was a semi-finalist at the World Juniors in the 110 hurdles, which was recently concluded in Nairobi, Kenya. So, who would like to answer the questions first? Should I ask you, Coach, or should I start with Marc?
You can start with me first.
Okay. So, Coach, the first question we wanted to ask is, as you're originally from the Philippines, how is coaching in Singapore different to coaching in the Philippines?
It's quite different because number one, I would say in Singapore there's so much support, so much facilities, and you know I would say it's very conducive for training. Even the government is supporting the sports program here, and the grassroots program for kids is I would say amazing. So in Philippines, I know a lot of passionate coaches, but the problem is we don't have much support. In Singapore, one more thing is that the parents are very supportive. Even for example, like even off season, even those kids who are don't have exposure, so the parents are sending them for private coaches. The parents are sending them for
Yeah,
competitions, so they can have some exposure.
yeah, okay. Um, can you hear me, Coach? I think the volume might have cut out on that last bit.
I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm guessing in the Singapore, it's more similar to the structures we have with the British athletic system in, say, New Zealand and Australia, where you have a club system set up versus, um, everything in the Philippines, I think, is more government based. Like everything is more reliant on the government rather than private, coaching and having, families invest into the coaching of their kids rather than expecting the government to cover all the costs. Um,
True, true. Quite similar to Australia.
yeah, because you have established, established club system. So the next question is in regards to coaching. How long have you been coaching Marc? Are you his first coach? And if so, how did you identify him as a talent?
So we've been coaching Mark since primary school. That was, if I'm mistaken, around grade three or grade four. It's like primary three, primary four, with my other colleague, which is Coach Stan Tansenko, and Coach Lali Tolentino. So then Mark continued training with me to secondary until now.
So was he about 10 when he start? You said grade three, so was he about 9 or 10 when he um when he started with you as a coach?
Come again?
So was he about you said grade three, so was he around 9 or 10 years of age when he started with you as a coach?
He's roughly 9 or 10 year old during that
Okay.
time.
So you've been coaching him for around um,
19 years,
nine or
nine
ten
years,
years.
9 years, 9 to 10 years.
Yeah. So what made you identify him as a talent when he was 9? Did he come to you, or did you go to him and say you could be good at this particular sport? Or
Actually, Mark got the talent already since primary school, but it's just he's not that the number one yet. There's another boy which I'm training, and Mark always comes seconds on this boy. And
yeah,
eventually, as Mark continue his passion, continue working hard in training, eventually he overtaken this boy and he continued dominating all the competitions in the nationals in Singapore. Nationals in Singapore is like palarong pambansa. So
Yeah.
it's the highest
National
competition. So
schools. Yeah.
yeah. So after he started dominating the nationals when he was Sec 3, when he was 15-year-old.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is for you personally. How long have you been coaching, and what are your goals as a coach?
I'm coaching since 19. Way back in Philippines, I'm still in
Yeah.
university and I'm still studying. I'm still competing. I'm helping out the my province, which is Bulacan, and training for Laraa and even for Palarong Pambansa. So I once in a while during my weekends, I will come down and help our trainers to train the kids. And eventually, I become a full-time coach and teacher in Philippines, and until now I'm doing it. So roughly from 19 to 20 years old, now I'm 40. I'm coaching roughly 20 years.
Yeah. So the next question is, in this time that you've been coaching, have you got a coaching philosophy, and if so, would you mind sharing it with us?
So my coaching philosophy is pure hard work and passion. If you have
Yeah,
these two traits as an athlete, I think you can go further.
definitely. So the next question is, do you have any other talented athletes in your group that we should watch out for that might be coming up?
Yep, a lot. If I'm going to mention one by one, it will be I may not be able to count it with my hands. I have so many young kids because in
Yeah,
Singapore I'm developing a lot of those what you call the primer school for competing for nationals. And our goal in developing them is to just for them to have fun, but at the same time learning the skill. You can have fun learning the skill in long jump. You can have fun learning the skill in hurdle. And the good thing in
yeah,
Singapore, there's a competition for it. So somehow, whatever they learn, they can apply it in the competition, and you can see them winning. So
yeah.
I have a lot of kids in the national level, both primary school and secondary schools, which winning the top one and breaking the records. So
Yeah.
just recent on the last recent weekend competition, we have the Singapore Masters Internationals. They opened it for those younger age levels.
Yeah, I saw
There's
the result. I went through the results. It was like
yeah,
under 13.
you will see the results that there's so
Yeah,
many Team Segada first, second, and a
yeah.
week,
So
two
that's
weeks
your team.
before, 2 weeks before, there's like a Pesasukan. It's like a national competition. You will see also all the Team Segada dominating all the competitions.
Yeah,
So all those are our kids. This is the Team Segada logo.
yeah. Uh, just the last question there for your coach before we move on to Mark, who's been waiting patiently.
Yep.
Can I ask, besides sprints, which other events do you coach?
In Philippines, we were taught all events. In UST,
Right.
when I was studying in UST, Coach Manny, of course, teach me my specific event, which is the 400, 800,005. But the good thing is, we try to sometimes cross training with some jumpers, with some distance runners, with some hurdlers, with some throwers.
Yeah.
So in the end, I have learned all those events. So when I took my IAAF level one, they
Yeah.
test us and teach us all these events too for you to pass it. And you have to
Yeah.
perform and you have to be able to coach all these events for you to pass a level one. The
What did
first
they
first
give you for
whole
your
system of level one.
demo? What
Yeah.
event did they give you for your demo? What did they want you to demo for IAAF level one? Because when you do level one, I understand they basically give you a random event and you have to basically come up with a presentation on it.
Yes. Something like that. So it gives me
Yeah.
a good training platform. So eventually, in Singapore, when I start coaching here, there are some kids who will come to me or athletes who will come to me who want to learn long jump. I'll teach them the long jump, and you will see a lot of long jumpers,
Yeah.
performing very well on my team. There I have some
What
13-year-old
about the
girls
pole
who
vault?
can jump 5 meters. pole boat, the problem to pole boat here is the equipment.
Yeah.
Even the coaches in pole boats here has having a problem with the equipment. So I would say the event which I'm not coaching in Singapore is pole boat and the hammer throw.
Yeah, they're not cheap events because imagine a pole snaps. It's like a
Yes,
lot of
but
about
javelin
$1,000 to replace.
discus, yep, javelin discus, triple jump, long jump, hurdles, sprints, long distance. I'm
Yeah.
teaching all those technical events.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for that, Coach. I'll now shift the questions over to Marc in regards to.
Raj, are you waiting for
Um,
me? See?
yeah. Okay, so Marc, good evening. I've just got a few
Hi.
questions here. I'm not sure if Coach
You can
sent
go.
them through,
You're not going to
but
run today. You're done already. Yeah,
the first
because you have hip pain,
question
right?
is with regards to what are your goals after making the semi-finals at World Juniors? Like, what are the next goals after um, having made the semi-finals at World Juniors? What is the plan or the next competition or next
Uh,
aim? Yeah.
for now, I think our next goal is SEA Games. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So before SEA Games, I have to go NS. So yeah, but the next goal is SEA Games for 100 meters and 4x1.
Yep.
Yeah.
The NS is the national service. Just to give you some insight about the NS, which Mark is talking. NS is a national service which all the Singaporean and PR must
Male.
undergo. It's a 2-year thing, like ROTC. You know ROTC in Philippines
Yeah.
before
Um,
CAT,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I know about the national service. Is it just for the men or the boys, or do the girls have to do it as
In
well?
Singapore, it's required for men, roughly 2
Yeah.
years.
So when is he going to do the national service?
November 10th.
Okay. Um, so we'll just we'll head back to the question. So the goal is the SEA Games. So you mentioned the one and the 4x1. Is the hurdles also on the cards as well for the SEA Games?
Because I think I won't have enough time to get prepared for the senior level, so I won't be ready for the next SEA Games for 110.
Okay. So the goal
Yeah.
is to, just concentrate on developing the speed
Yeah.
as more time is required to get
Yeah.
used to the higher height, which, for reference, I believe is juniors is what 99
99.
centimeters, and then the seniors 1.06.
Yes.
So it's a
Yep.
7 centimeter differential. So then the next question is, after that, do you see yourself progressing with more of the hurdles after that, or do you see yourself focusing more on the sprints, or just continuing with
For
both?
now, yes, but I'm still trying out. So, but yeah, I'm still trying out the height and everything. But for now, yes.
Okay. So next question is, what do you enjoy about the sport? Like, what drives you, or what keeps you going in the sport?
Um. Uh. At the start, it's just for me to get in shape, just doing it for fun for like CCA, and then as time flies, I get to go to competitions and it gets very exciting for me, and I get to meet new people from other schools and other countries. Yeah, and
Awesome.
yeah.
Um, Besides the World Juniors, what other international meets have you participated in?
I've been to ASEAN School Games, Asian Youth, which is in Hong Kong, and ASEAN is in Malaysia, and some other Hong Kong meets, like some small meets in Hong Kong. Yeah,
Even the
that's.
Sea Youth in Philippines, remember, Mark? You
Oh
went?
yeah, and Sea Youth in
Yeah.
Philippines.
Did you
Sea Youth.
participate in the World Youth Championships, or just straight to World
Oh
Juniors,
no, this is the first time the World Junior is my first ever world.
World
Yeah,
meet?
yes.
Um, okay, in regards to the national service, I'm also asking, you're in college or senior high school at the
Uh,
moment?
For now, I graduate ITE, so college. Yeah, so
Yeah.
now I'm just waiting for NS, and then I will plan my academics after I finish NS.
Yeah, there was probably my next question is what are your academic goals in terms of what you plan to study, what you're studying, and what you're planning to do after athletics in terms of
I have not planned anything yet.
very tough one to
Yeah.
decide to answer.
I have not planned anything after. I think I will start planning after I finish like halfway through NS.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, not like in terms of work, that's probably like quite a way off. But have you decided? So in other words, you're still deciding what you want to take up in college,
Yeah,
or you were
yeah,
yeah. So after national service,
yeah.
you'll be having to think about it. Okay. Um, and then the last question is from Marc from Bulacan, who obviously knows quite a bit about Coach Benber because he's from the same place
Yeah.
in the Philippines. The question is there differences? I'm guessing this one is more for Coach Benber, actually. I think would be more aimed towards Coach Benber. Is there differences of athletes in the Philippines and in Singapore in terms of setting their goals as an athlete?
Oh, a lot. I would say I mean, I can say this personally, and coming from myself. Most of the athletes in Philippines compete, you know, with our heart,
Yeah,
with I would say a deeper reason and deeper motivation. Okay.
yeah,
In Singapore, they are doing that too, but the only difference in Philippines is that you will do it no matter what.
yeah,
You without facility, without support, without someone looking after you, without someone providing all this stuff. In Singapore, a lot of talented kids here,
yeah,
but a lot of kids like Marc who can even do far better than Marc. It's just if they can they can have the same motivation or deeper meaning of um, I would say achieving what they want. I think a lot of more athletes like Marc will be
yeah,
successful or even be more successful than Marc. Maybe it's because also of the culture in Singapore, because a lot of at the group as I'm telling early on, the grassroots program here is good, but there's no much continuation program because a lot of kids after they finish their college, they are stopping and continuing their career, continuing to pursue their career. Unlike in Philippines, we can uh, we can make track and field as our career and have some other sidelines or other jobs related to it. Like you can be in army or military at the same time. You can be a coach. You can be in the national team at the same time, having some allowances from it. In Singapore, when you see Marc competing in the higher level, most of it is because of passion.
yeah,
So I would say Marc is reaching until this level because he's like one of those Filipino kids who have this
yeah.
deeper meaning of doing it.
Yeah, you did mention that he does have Filipino roots. Like, is one parent is Filipino or both? Or
You are choppy just now.
sorry, you did mention that Marc did have a Filipino parent, or was it two?
My mom's Filipino, my dad's Indian.
Okay. So,
So
what
one.
part of the Philippines is your mother from?
Uh, Tarlac,
Uh,
Tarlac.
right?
so
Yes.
that's
Tarlac.
not far from like where your place is it, Coach? Like that's sort of like in the same region.
Come again?
Where are you from in the Philippines, Coach? Which province?
Bulacan also. Bulacan.
So like, yeah, Tarlac is right next to Bulacan, so it's in the same
Yes,
geographic
Tarlac,
region. Almost, it's like about an
Pampanga.
hour away, isn't it?
Yes, and a half hour, around a half
Yeah,
hour. Actually, we've been there. I brought
yeah,
Mark in Philippines in one of our gift giving beneficiaries in
yeah,
Ilocos, and we went there in the mountains and bring
yeah.
some gifts to the kids. And after we went to Tarlac to his hometown.
What's his hometown? Which which town in Tarlac?
Uh, which part of Tarlac, Mark?
Yeah, which town?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if Mark know the exact location in Tarlac.
Yeah,
So someone just meet us somewhere around the boundary of Tarlac, and then they guide us to the. It's like a village
yeah,
with rice fields.
yeah. Did Mark go to the last Sea Games, or was he still a bit young at that time for the last Sea Games in 2019?
Mm,
I didn't
no,
go.
no. He qualified for this next one, the
Yeah,
relay. He's supposed to do 100 meter, but I'm not sure if it will happen next year. Although this year is postponed, right?
yeah. The Sea Games is a bit of a question mark because it's if it's going to be scheduled, it's going to be almost 8 months before the 2023 in Cambodia. So I believe that the Vietnamese have until October, beginning of October, to actually announce um,
Yep.
a exact date for the Sea Games. But next year's pretty busy anyway. I mean, there's the Commonwealth Games for three countries in the Southeast
Yep.
Asian
Yep.
region. There's like World Juniors again. There's World Athletics, World Indoors, um, Asian Indoors, Asian Martial Arts and Indoors, Asian Games, and the list goes on. So next year is pretty busy because all the competitions from this year were pushed forward, and all the competitions that were going to be held are still, next
Yep.
year as
Yep.
well. So there's
True.
like about 10 major competitions next year. So it's, I'm pretty sure that if the Sea Games doesn't push through, then there are other competitions that you could probably find for Marc as a coach for him to continue his athletic journey.
Yep. Yep. So I'm not sure if Mark can participate for if the SEA Games will happen next year, as Mark is saying. He will be an NS in the national service. So we're not sure if we will be able to participate even in 100 meter or in the relay, depending on how the government will allow him to do it. But still, we're looking forward on a lot of bigger competition, men's open competition, after he finishes NS, which is 2 years from November 10,
Okay.
probably.
So, coach, with NS, what's the training approach or the training approach during the 2 years when he is in NS? Because I
Yeah,
understand that.
there are different ways because if you are assigned on some strict strict group like army, it will be different. If you go and assign in police or in the some other post, it will be lighter schedules, so he can train even in the afternoon. But if he will be posted in like something like army or those with the super strict reporting time inside the camp, then it will really hamper the training. But as I heard and we have read some ways that Singapore is doing to support all those potential young athletes like Mark. So
Yeah,
probably there should be a better way. There should be if they will come up in a better solution. So
so
Mark
they're
can
talking
have
about coming up with this special program,
again.
the special program for the athletes. In other words,
At the
from
moment, don't have. At the moment, they don't have. So you have to go like a normal NSMN.
okay. Anyway, well, thanks, Coach Ben and Mark, for taking time to talk to me tonight. Um, and I'm sure that you guys want to get back to your training because we've had a good
Yep.
25 minutes of chat.
Yeah, we'll just do light
Um,
core after this.
just core. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So anyway, I'll leave you guys to it. Thanks very much for for your time.
Yep.
Was there anything you guys wanted to add or say or anything like that?
I would like to say hi to all the Filipino coaches and to the Filipino athletes. I miss you all there. I hope you're still training well and keep working hard. Wherever we are, I know this pandemic all affects us. So I hope you find ways to and find alternative to be able to train still and continue your progress. So what we are also doing here in Singapore. There's so many restrictions, so we just find our own ways. So for us to be able to train still. So just hold on, guys, and I hope to see you all in the future for some other Filipino local competition or even on the other international competitions. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach. Marc, do you have any last words for tonight?
No, just thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys. I'll now be ending the call. Thanks once again for tuning in, everybody, and good night.
All right.
Good night.
Thanks, Enzo.
See ya.